fans are bracing for impact because it looks like Caitlin Clark might have gotten injured again. And she has missed nearly half the games this season with a quad injury and then with a groin injury. Here's the play where it happened. She's dribbling down, she pushes off, she makes this pass to Kelsey Mitchell on the back door. And
the entire WNBA world just felt the ground shake because what happened in Boston could change everything. Caitlin Clark, the face of the league, the player carrying the sport on her back, might have just suffered another injury.
Congratulations, Amber Cox, way to go. Kelly Krauskopf, you did it, girl. You really did it. Way to rush Caitlin Clark back from injury time after time after time after time.
And not just any tweak or bruise, but one that could rip the heart out of the Indiana Fever's season and gut the league's momentum. Clark, who's already missed nearly half the season dealing with a quad strain and then a groin issue, was finally stringing together games, finally starting to find her rhythm again. And then, in a single sequence, it all unraveled. You could see it the moment it happened. She's bringing the ball up the floor, scanning the court like she's done 1,000 times before. A quick push-off, a perfectly timed backdoor pass to Kelsey Mitchell. Vintage Clark. But then she turns, starts running back down the court, and her hand shoots to her right groin. Her face changes instantly. That split-second joy of creating a highlight turns into a grimace that every athlete and every fan recognizes. Something's wrong.
To the point where she's tearing and crying on the court because she felt something in her groin. You three ladies couldn't manage a kid's lemonade stand.
This wasn't just a twinge, this was a re-injury. The Indiana Fever closed out their road trip with an 85-77 win over the Connecticut Sun inside TD Garden, but the victory came at a devastating price. 40 seconds left in the game, and the league's brightest star is wincing, grabbing at her side, her stride broken. And the worst part? It was avoidable. The entire night, Clark had been subjected to the kind of physical abuse you don't see in professional basketball anymore. At least not without whistles. But the officials? They just let it ride. Stephanie White, Amber Cox, Kelly Krauskopf, congratulations. You've officially turned the WNBA's crown jewel into a crash test dummy. You rushed her back from injury once, twice, again and again. And now here she is, crying on the bench, head buried in a towel, because she knows what just happened. She knows what this could mean.
This is potentially a disaster for the city of Indianapolis, the Indiana Fever. They're hosting the All-Star game. We just found out Caitlin Clark was going to be in the three-point contest, and this is her, right?
And you three? You couldn't manage a kid's lemonade stand, let alone the most valuable player in the women's game. This isn't some minor she'll walk it off situation. This is the inevitable result of a league that refuses to protect its biggest investment. Clark, who'd already missed 9 games this season due to various injuries, is being run into the ground while referees swallow their whistles. And when I say run into the ground, I mean it literally. Every trip down the floor, she's getting bumped, grabbed, shoved, hacked. Every drive to the hoop feels like she's walking into a trap. And when the final damage came, you could see the weight of it all hitting her at once. She sat there on the bench, tears in her eyes, knowing the All-Star game in her home city might just slip away. The Fever's timeout near the end wasn't for strategy, it was a cry for help. White was practically begging the refs to stop the madness, to get control before someone, namely Clark, got hurt.
She's going to walk over. She knows she's injured, and it looked bad, folks. She was on the bench, had her head wrapped in a towel.
But by then, it was too late. The damage had already been done, and you could feel her frustration boiling over. She'd already snapped at a ref earlier in the game, already been caught holding her head during a cold shooting spell. And now this, the pain, the pressure, the reality setting in that her All-Star weekend might be gone before it even starts. White has been warning about this all season. When officials let games devolve into wrestling matches, the more physical teams take it too far. And Clark? She's a competitor. She's not going to shy away from the challenge. But there's a difference between competing and being thrown around like a rag doll. And make no mistake, she's been thrown around all year. The numbers don't lie. On the road this season, Clark is shooting 1 for 32 from three-point range. That's not just a slump.
You could see it weighing on her. Now, she had snapped at a referee earlier. She had held her head down in the midst of her shooting slump. So maybe some of this is just all of that coming to a head, especially knowing that All-Star Weekend is coming up from Indiana.
That's the product of a player who's playing hurt, playing frustrated, and playing against defenders who are getting away with murder. And the refs? They're not just part of the problem. They are the problem. Every ignored foul, every cheap shot that goes uncalled, it's another brick in the wall that's closing in on her season. And you wonder why she's on the bench, crying? You wonder why fans are furious? The officiating has been a disgrace. This Connecticut game wasn't basketball. It was a demolition job, and the refs were the construction crew. Hand checks, holds, elbows to the ribs, straight up shoves. All of it play on according to these clowns with whistles. There were moments where she was literally body checked out of bounds. No call. None. It's beyond embarrassing. It's dangerous. This isn't about being tough or letting them play. Oh, this is about a league letting its most marketable player get brutalized with zero protection.
So on the road this season, Caitlin Clark is a combined 1 for 32 from three-point range. Very unusual. She's hot. Breon January having to hold her back. We'll take a timeout.
And if you think that doesn't have consequences, you're not paying attention. Look at her shooting. Look at her field goal percentage. Look at how often she's grabbing at her body between plays. The most infuriating part of all this is that none of it should be happening. This is Caitlin Clark's first professional season. The kid had never missed a single game in college. Not one. She arrives in the WNBA and suddenly she's dealing with a quad strain, a groin injury, and now another groin tweak. All in less than a year. That doesn't happen by accident. That happens because she's getting hammered on every possession, and the people in charge, from the league office to the officiating crew to the Fever's own decision makers, aren't stopping it.
I don't know what that ref said. I don't know what happened. But yeah, she was basically just saying that has nothing to do with it. So I don't know what they were discussing, but yeah, she was basically pissed about the entire situation.
Earlier in the season, she missed 5 games after being hacked to pieces by the Liberty with no calls. Then she went down again with a groin injury after being yanked and grabbed by defenders in another so-called physical game. And every time she comes back, she's immediately put back into heavy minutes, expected to carry an offense, and told to just deal with the hits. This isn't toughness, it's recklessness. Paige Buchers said it best. The expectations on Clark right now are inhumane. Night after night, she's under pressure to produce, to be perfect, to carry the league's marketing, to win games, and to do it all while opponents are allowed to maul her like it's a rugby match. And then ESPN, instead of acknowledging the toll it's taking, decides to throw up graphics about her shooting slump every other segment. No mention of the injuries, no mention of the abuse she's taking, just endless reminders of her percentages like they're trolling her on national TV. They don't do that to Angel Reese. They don't do it to anyone else. But with Clark, it's open season. It's not just unprofessional, it's bullying. And yet, through all of it, Clark keeps showing up. She keeps trying to fight through it. That's why her current situation is so gutting. This All-Star game in Indianapolis was supposed to be her moment, her coronation. The most fan votes in WNBA history, 1,293,526, named team captain, scheduled for the three-point contest. The league built the weekend around her. Tickets sold out in 7 hours because of her. The local economy was preparing for a tourism boom because of her.
Is the refs, dog. Like, the refs are terrible. Y'all play a part in these injuries. Y'all play a part in all of these injuries. Y'all don't call nothing. Y'all don't call nothing, bro. Like, what are we talking about? All of y'all should be fired. Just don't do your jobs at all.
Now, all of that is in jeopardy. If she can't go, this isn't just a personal disappointment. It's an economic and PR disaster for the WNBA. And make no mistake, the blame doesn't just fall on bad luck. It falls on leadership failure from top to bottom. This is where smart organizations protect their stars. Think about Michael Jordan in the 80s when he broke his foot. Jerry Krause held him out longer than necessary, not because he didn't want to win, but because he understood what was at stake. You protect your greatest asset. You don't rush them back for short-term gains. You think long-term, you think legacy. The Fever haven't done that. The WNBA hasn't done that. And now Clark's career is already carrying more scar tissue than it should. People need to understand, these injuries don't just heal overnight. Every time she tweaks something, she risks overcompensating, which creates a new injury somewhere else. This is the domino effect that ends careers early.
You guys are trash. Trash, man. You got people getting hurt left and right. Look at this trash. We got people getting elbowed in the face. Body check. Look at this. Sophie Cunningham dropped. She just gets body checked out of bounds.
You think it's just a groin tweak now, but you keep rushing her back and suddenly she's got hip problems, back problems, hamstring issues. And by the time she's 27, you're wondering why the most hyped player of her generation can barely get through a season. The writing's on the wall and the league is pretending it's invisible. The broadcast teams have stopped pretending. They're calling out missed fouls live on air. Fans are flooding social media with slow-motion replays of her getting hacked. Even opposing players are admitting the physicality against her is over the line. And yet the officials still call games like they've got a vendetta. If she so much as breathes heavy at them, she's getting a tech. But if someone sends her flying into the stanchion, play on. The hypocrisy is unbearable. Let's be real, the WNBA knows exactly what it's doing. They've decided that letting them play makes for a better product than protecting their stars. But you don't build a league by sacrificing your meal ticket. You don't protect the brand by breaking the person who is the brand.
Training staff, we got this person and that person, an expert here and an expert there, saying this, saying that. Next thing you know, these people have managed to turn Caitlin Clark into a player who now gets injured and injured and injured. What the hell did you guys do?
And Clark isn't just the face of the league right now, she's the foundation. Without her, all the new eyeballs disappear. The casual fans who just started tuning in, gone. The sponsorship deals that came in because of her presence, dry up. The TV networks willing to pay more for broadcast rights, they're not doing it for the WNBA, they're doing it for Caitlin Clark. And the most maddening part, the refs and the league office seem completely unfazed by that reality. Look back at this Connecticut game. From the opening tip, the Sun defenders were bumping her on cuts, holding her jersey, hitting her after the whistle. There were at least a dozen sequences that should have been fouls. Not borderline, not subjective, but obvious. And every time, the Researchai.
Turning into another injury, and it's an overcompensation injury, and she's trying to play through it because she's got the weight of WNBA on her shoulders. All of this stuff. I think all of these things are factors. I think all of this is a factor for what's happening. I think all of this is a factor of why she's playing.